Hello. So I'll get straight into it. I saw one battle after another, and I liked it. It's good. This has been the David Morgan Brown Experience episode. All right. So look, yeah, there appears to be this is like the big film of the year, it seems, and there's a touch of disparity between how like critics and I guess film fans alike feel about it, and then how I feel about it. Just in terms of like thinking it's a 7 out of 10, it's quality enough stuff. But this being a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, it does feel like for the cinephiles, for the kinophiles, it's an event. Certain directors have this. I mean, sometimes people don't care. They're like, an example maybe Denis Villeneuve. Like, I don't give a shit about his Dune movies, but that's like a big event for some people. And this is certainly Paul Thomas Anderson, PTA, like an event movie for me. So I was excited I was excited, but I tempered my excitement. I'm like, let me just watch it and see. I'd seen the trailer, just the first one. I didn't see the second. So that's the level of excitement that I'm at. But I've got things to say. I won't get straight into it. Like, I'll just say that the film is fun. It's definitely fun, and it's funny. It's very entertaining. I wouldn't quite say that it's the like action movie that I was sort of expecting. I thought it would be more action-y. That's fine. And it's all very well done. It's all very well done. I guess just the problem is, it's well paced as well. Like, I didn't get bored for a single frame in its 162-minute runtime. So I thought, this is all right. But the problem that I guess I have with the film, as it was like unfolding, and then when it ended, sort of felt like I don't get like a real substance. There's nothing like substantial in it because it seems like it's a bit too funny and like too cartoonish for me to really take seriously. But I mean, it seems like there's political shit going on in the movie, and I was thinking like it doesn't really engage with it to much of a degree, and in a way that's fine, but in a way it's not, because at least it's not like just a political film with a political agenda to come through. I mean, other people have their own opinions about that, but it also doesn't seem to really put through a viewpoint other than keep fighting for the world and that kind of thing. It's a very kind of general and obvious and at times predictable movie. It's not quite hitting me with a surprise. I was thinking that the film acted like catnip for these liberal critics. It is kind of just anyway. But I now see that it's also worked as catnip for the conservative folks, giving it a review on their YouTubes or whatever. And I'm not engaging with the likes of like an Armin White, his review. Obviously he wasn't gonna like it. I knew it. I'm not feeling that the film was really, as I say, pushing through a political ideology, really. Like, I guess people are going to disagree, but I felt like, particularly with the beginning of the film, it gets straight into it. It gets straight into it with this, like, kidnapping of a lieutenant, the Sean Penn character, in this immigration detention center, and these revolutionaries, the French 75, going in and kidnapping him and being very vocal about how they don't like ICE. And I was thinking, as I'm watching this, like, okay, is this like what the film, like, is the characters, their whole opinions, their whole ideologies, is that just simply what the film's ideology is going to be? I would say the answer is no. I think there's a bit of it gets more mixed up as it goes on. But like when I first saw that, I was thinking that, I was wondering like, well, I'm a little suspicious, because otherwise it's just, I don't know, too didactic. That it would come across that way. As kind of exciting an opening scene as it is. But I do think the film sort of settles into what it really is, and it's a bit more of a mixed kind of conversation about anarchy and political activism in this kind of violent way. But it becomes more of that's opening as kind of just like a launching pad for the events that kind of occur, and it sets up a bit of the tone and a bit of the, obviously the characters and their interactions. But I'm thinking about it now, like, do you absolutely need that scene in the movie? Is it really necessary? I don't know, but there's a lot going on at the beginning of the movie where it takes place in this kind of prologue stage where it shows like that scene, and then like there's a bank robbery and it goes kind of wrong, and these characters are getting like arrested, and one of them is like she was in a relationship with Leo's character, but she's giving herself up for like witness protection, but the Sean Penn character is coming after her because he slept with her at one point, because he's apparently supposed to be a white supremacist, but he also has a thing for the black ladies, and like they have a kid together, but Leo's character is raising the kid, but he doesn't realize that it's not his, and then cut forward like 16 years later. This is all in the first 15 minutes. This ain't no spoilers or anything, you know, unless you consider like the opening of a movie to be a spoiler, but yeah, it's quite a lot to kind of go off on, and I think that's fine. It is fine, because then we have the whole thing with Sean Penn all these years later. Like, you know, for these reasons, they're kind of crazy, but for reasons, he needs to take care of this situation of him having a mixed-race daughter, this Chase Infinity character, who Leo is raising up, but Leo's like a pothead tad, and they're all like they're trying to evade the authorities and trying to like basically do that. It's kind of like a chase movie. It does feel like that way. It does get to it all climaxes with a literal chase with all these cars on these like very winding roads and everything. It's all very exciting. It's very excitingly done. I didn't like the first joke in the movie, which is to do with Sean Penn when he's confronted with this black chick at the start. Just the sexual, I don't want to say sexual politics, but just the sexiness of it. I dig that like the film very much sets itself up showing like the sexiness and anarchy and this political activism. Like, okay, I dig it. I just didn't like the joke with Sean Penn at the start. I'm like, ugh, that's kind of cringe, you know. That ain't funny. I'm not offended, but it's just, it didn't land for me as a joke, and I'm like, oh no, like, is this what the film's going to be like? And the other jokes in the film are a bit more on the varying degrees of more understated than that, and it's fine. Like, I did certainly laugh at quite a few moments throughout the film. It does feel like it's a lot of things. It's a lot of genres, like comedy, drama, chase film, political thriller. I wouldn't say revenge, but it's got sort of a revenge element. Not element, but it feels like it has kind of the structure of a revenge film. Sort of. It's like a mission film. There is a mission that needs to be accomplished and people need to evade it. It's that kind of thing. I guess these are just my grievances about it in terms of its substance, because... And even reading all these critics with their very positive reviews, I mean, I guess... They certainly talk about, oh, it's like an absolute fucking, you know, romping ride through bloody cinematic, entertaining, blah, blah, blah. All the acting's great. Oh, what a great score and cinematography and everything like that. But they're not really cutting down to the substance. And even when they are, it's just that thing I said about it's, you know, you got to fight for the world. And I didn't really get much of a surprise out of the movie. I'm really trying to think about what surprised me about it. I mean, you know, as it's first half, I'm getting into it, but the second half, you sort of think it's just sort of ending generally. So no spoilers here, but you can kind of just spoil it for yourself. I mean, there is a moment very late in the film, like after the climax, like one last thing where I really was just thinking this is going to happen. And it did. The last kind of plot point of the film, you know, the last little bit, if you've seen it, you know, I was just thinking, oh, this is going to happen. And then it happened. And the film fucking ended. And I'm like, cool. It's just a bit of a far cry away from like these other PTA films, you know, the likes of There Will Be Blood and Phantom Thread, that just have these surprising character relations as they kind of twist and turn in very surprising ways. I mean, you could say the same thing about Magnolia and Boogie Nights. But in particular, most of all, The Master, which I just kind of happened to watch recently for some reason. Just, great kino. I threw that on, and I mean, that's definitely a film that's sort of made for that. It's really not like much of a... There's a story in it, but it's not like this kind of romp. It's very arc and just... I was going to say, things happen in it. Like, it is strange the way characters sort of act and then react. But I mean, the film is about psychology. It gets absolutely down into that. So that's definitely like a film that even when I watch it like a third, fourth time, I'm like still, I know the plot points that are coming up, you know, and these plot points are very much to do with these characters and how they act and react. But I still feel like I'm surprised and I'm delighted by just how strange it is. Just the way the characters evolve or don't. They sort of evolve and then evolve back to how they were. It's a bit, yeah, that sort of film. But this is very much on the general side. It just feels a bit more, it's mainstream in a narrative and sort of character sense, honestly. You know, and I'm looking at it, I look at the film and I'm like, okay, so it's like, it is PTA's film. It seems as if he had final cut. I mean, it's a very expensive movie for him, 160 million, I believe. So good luck making that back. I mean, watching the film, I mean, whatever, I guess maybe it's not so much to do with the film, but with the marketing, but you wonder, like, how is it gonna, am I gonna make money back, man? God damn, we've had a few years of some harsh bombs, but this one in particular is like the art house, you know, and it's very well received and everything critically, but it's still, cinephiles don't, like, make up the box office, you know, so how is this really gonna be doing, you know? And I just think people, if you're expecting an action movie, if that's what you want, you're going to be disappointed. It's certainly a thriller, and it has this sort of action element to it, but I mean, it's not really crash, bang, woohoo kind of action movie in that kind of sense. All I can really just say in terms of, like, in criticism or praise is just the acting is good. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, for sure. I think it just seems like, as it happens in movies, but look, honestly, like, we're really like the black women characters in it act like just how you see black women act in movies. Like, they're like sassy and they know what's going on, and they're kind of like, you know, the top level down, looking down on everyone else, even if they're in a position of being oppressed in a physical way as well. They're just like, well, I know how it is, honey. Well, it's not done in that kind of 80s way, but there's a new way that it happens now, which we're going to look back on and think like, that wasn't good the way black women were portrayed in these movies. I can't believe we looked back on these, or we watched these movies back then and thought that was okay. These films are going to come out now with like a warning on TV that's saying, you know, some of the ways that certain races and sexes are depicted in this movie have been outdated, you know, but we need to consider this film in the context of its time. All right, I might be talking crap, but I don't like this particular thing where, like, black women characters in films just can do no wrong and they're just amazing, and it's just not interesting characterization, you know. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, you know, this initial black woman character, her name's Beverly Hills, and then the daughter character. I'm really trying to think, is there anything that's sort of, are there any character flaws with them? It just seems like, what, like they don't know how to shoot a gun that well? Or, I mean, that's not the case at all. They're definitely practicing and everything. And look, I like the Willa character, Chase Infinity character. Like, she's cool. Quite a good actress, really. This is definitely, like, you know, good casting and quite the career launch for her. Like, for sure. That's cool. But I wasn't so keen on this Beverly Hills character. Like, there's really this disparity where it just shows, like, the beginning of the film that she's in for the most part, like, she's such a coarse character. She's so just, like, she can't say one sentence without swearing, and she's just like, motherfucker, we getting in this ice, bitch. Like, that's just kind of way, like, this gangster rap woman kind of way. And I'm like, oh man, it's a little monotonous, you know. I mean, I guess there's interesting things that the character does, like, I would say, at least in the beginning. But yeah, and then, like, well, like, you know, so at the end of the film, like, she sort of comes back, and she's saying, like, it just seems like her character's completely different at the end, because she's just like, you know, you gotta fight for your right to party, you know, this, like, whole ending thing that she does at the end. It just seems like it's almost like a different character, and all of a sudden you get this whole other different side of her, and I don't know, it's a little jarring. I'm trying to think, like, well, maybe it's just done purposefully to show, like, this different side of her, this, like, this kind of how she wanted to be this mother character, but I don't know. I was actually glad when she was, like, no longer in the film anymore. I'm like, oh god, I feel like I can kind of breathe, you know. I just don't have her just yelling throughout the fucking film. We get more like a, you know, like more of a zen-like character, like the Del Toro character. That's cool. And I mean, a lot of people are in agreement with me, but Sean Penn is pretty fucking great in this. He plays a real, you know, dickhead of a character, but he's really got this. It's like a physical performance, very, very militaristic, and very sort of controlling and demanding, and yet still he is under the spell of what is it called, the Christmas party. Merry Christmas, this white supremacy party that like rules the world and pulls all the strings. It is funny like to see these behind the scenes of what they do, and it is amusingly done. I laughed at it, but I also just maybe it depends on your like outlook on the world, but I don't think you can jive with it so much. I mean, look, if you're the sort of person who thinks that America is nowadays run by like a cabal of white supremacists, this is going to resonate with you in that political kind of way. And if you don't believe in that kind of thing, it might not sort of land for you. And this is kind of more of the more political side of it, like really the only kind of political side where it's just like, well, they're the bad guys and they're in power and they're white, but like, the other people, the mostly like the black people and whatever, and the illegal immigrants, they're downtrodden and they're the heroes. Whatever. I'm just gonna wrap it up there. I was somewhat tempted to I went to the preview screening, but like, am I gonna spend money to like watch it again? And the answer is no. I'm nearly broke, man. So no, I don't really have. I will definitely give it a watch at some point, 15 years from now or something like that. It's not like really up there for me. I mean, really, my least favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movies have to be Inherent Vice, Licorice Pizza, honestly, and then this one. That's how I look at it. 7 out of 10. Good stuff. Viva la cinema. It's just not like I'm not jizzing in my parents' bed about it or whatever. But hey, I believe. Well, this is how. It's so stupid to say. This is how I feel now. It's gonna win Best Picture, Best Director. It's gonna be PTA's unearned, his legacy Oscar. There'll be a bunch of other nominations, but Sean Penn, Best Supporting Actor, Best Music for Greenwood. Maybe Best Cinematography, and maybe Best Adapted Screenplay. I'm pretty sure he'll get that too. So, just place your bets, fellas. Oh God, I forgot about this. So there's a new Simpsons movie been announced. Coming out, I believe, exactly 20 years after the first movie. I do remember at the end of the first movie, Homer Simpson looking at the camera and saying, "I will see you in 20 years." And it cuts to the credits. All right. Exciting stuff. I don't know. It's like, there's been these kind of rumors for a long time, and it's been like, oh yeah, whatever. I just sort of think like, well, who really cares? Like, I guess people care. Simpsons, that people are still watching The Simpsons. The Simpsons just keeps going, and it will never stop. They'll never stop. The Simpsons. Have no fear. We got stories for years. How about a crazy wedding where something happens? They could just eventually get to a point where they just start AIing the show, just churn it out forever and ever after the heat death of the universe. Bloody 1,000 seasons. Great. Well, anyway, I haven't seen The Simpsons since bloody season 22, and even that was like too far for me, really. When's the last time you bloody watched it? Probably season 12. Maybe like, around the time, like, what is it, season 15 was when this movie came out. When the movie came out, it was obviously a little too late in terms of like the cultural zeitgeist, but there was still something there, and I mean, it certainly made bank, and there was excitement for it, and yeah, I definitely remember going to the cinemas with me mates, and like the parents as well were checking out. The cinema was like super full. We had to disperse around the cinema. We weren't all sitting together. I was next to like just a couple of mates. We found some seats, so packed cinema, lots of excitement, and people were laughing. They were really laughing all the way through. I was one of them. At like a 16-year-old, I was digging it. I mean, especially being like it's past its prime, but I still like The Simpsons, whatever. But I think I've seen the film twice since then, and each time it's gone like a bit lower in my estimation, in my esteem regard. I don't know. Yeah, at this point now, I'm kind of, it's funny. It's a nice sort of assembly of jokes. But then again, some of the jokes I'm looking at, and they just don't land for me. And you wonder, like, why is it that you'd think there'd just be more attention paid to what jokes they sort of put through in the movie. Because you certainly see that with, like, the golden era of the Simpsons episodes. You're just like, God damn. Apparently, yeah, they would have to get a joke, and then the whole process of 6 or 8 months of getting it animated, they're like, if we start to think that it's not that great, kind of got to cut it out unless it's really putting through a story. But I guess kind of see that with the deleted scenes. But yeah, plenty of those golden era episodes. I'm just like, this is flawless. Like, every fucking joke is on point, man. So yeah, I guess, it's a shame that the movie didn't come out during the time of The Simpsons. I mean, they were going to do a movie of in season 4, like after season 3, and it was going to be the Camp Krusty episode, which is not a very good idea for a movie because it's Bart-centric. Like, the family don't really show up much. I think it's just Bart and Lisa, I guess. But yeah, you got to have Homer and Marge, because obviously they were a big part of the movie that eventually came out. So yeah, that obviously just became an episode instead. But I mean, like the late 90s would have been, the suitable time. The suitable time when the show started to enter into its silver era, I think would have been more appropriate. But I don't know why they just sat on it for so long. I guess they were trying to get it as right as they could. And then it comes out. And as I say, it made bank. There was a big, like, cultural thing around it. It was very exciting. It was very exciting. Very exciting. The whole fucking thing, whatever. And now, and I think I've seen people saying, like, there's, like, at this point now, just right now, there's been more time between the movie and now than there has been between The Simpsons premiering in 1989 and the first movie. So it's like, oh, big long time. But really just after, another 20 fucking years, and it's like, hey, new movie, woo, get hyped. And I'm just, look, I'll see it. I'll watch it, but hopefully there's a preview screening. There probably won't be because it's Fox. They don't do preview screenings. I'll be like, trying to rope my friends in. Hey, guys, remember The Simpsons? You want to see the fucking movie? Remember when we... I think a lot of my friends, maybe not a lot, but like quite a few of them that I saw it with when it came out, like, we're still friends. So see about roping them in again to see it, see how that goes. But obviously, no one gives a fuck. There's like very, very, very clear Simpsons fatigue that has been going on for decades. So yeah, whatever. There's only been a poster shown, and that's really it. And it's just I'm more excited about just if there's any, like, pop culture anticipation surrounding it, and it being like a thing again, like the first movie. And I don't think it is. It's really not going to be, because The Simpsons is now another 2 decades past that whole thing. Like, even less people, I guess, care about it. So it's going to be a very hesitant kind of excitement, like that I have. So yeah, I'm more excited about that than the actual movie. And I'm still not even, like, giving too much of a shit about it. But it's just that The Simpsons is, like, I don't know, what is it, like a religion that you feel like you belong to, but you don't like the new sect or whatever. You don't like how it's been modernized. And yeah, anyway, that's the thing. Cool, whatever. Comes out in 2027. Still on the movie talk. Wait. So I noticed a couple of trailers for stand-up comedy movies. There's literally like a movie about a stand-up comedian. You get maybe a few of these every now and again. This is a Bradley Cooper directed movie, and it's got, I don't know. I don't fucking get it. Like, some actor, Paul Rudd, whatever, who cares? And it's called Is This Thing On? It just looks like, I don't know, Bradley Cooper's got esteem in terms of being even a director. I guess he's been nominated, I don't know. He sort of makes these, I haven't really seen his movies, so they're kind of like classy looking, Oscar baitery kind of movies. But this new one, just even the title, it just seems so like, ooh, is this thing up? And but then watching the trailer, it really has this like, oh, the sad clown, the sad comedian, and how he's like, oh, I'm going through all these struggles. And when he talks about them on stage, it's like People are laughing, laugh at my pain, ha ha ha. Oh, but I'm really struggling. Oh, I'm so sad. And just this whole thing about like the sensitive comedian, which like it's fine. It's fine to have that aspect of it that you see like in a lot of podcasts these days, these comedy podcasts where it's too monotonous, this sort of sensitive comedy that they go through. It's not even comedy. They're just like, oh man, so fucked up what's going on in the world. Hey, it's just fucked up, you know. We all just need to love each other. Oh man, it's crazy. Charlie Kirk and all this kind of stuff, you know. And I'm like, man, tell a joke. Just tell a joke, you know. I mean, Mark Norman does this. Mark Norman isn't part of that. He's got his podcast, and if someone mentions like a crazy thing and he's just hearing about it for the first time, he comes through like a machine. He actually starts pumping out the jokes, see what works, but he has a pretty good success rate. He has a pretty good hit rate when he spits them out. You know, he's just really quick thinker with the quick comedy. So he's good with that. But then you just have all these other people who I guess people complain about them being very politicized. But to me, it's more just about them like having shitty political opinions that are like barely informed, talking about events. So like, oh, did that happen? Oh, that's fucked up. Or maybe it didn't happen. I don't know. This thing. I was just watching Joe Rogan talk about like something that, whatever. Just talking about the North Hollywood shooting, and I quickly looked it up, and like only the perpetrators died. But then I went back to the video, and he's like, oh yeah, they killed these cops apparently. I don't know. Or something like that. Oh, fuck, man. Why don't you do a bit of research? Fuck. Just go to the Wikipedia page and read the first line, for Christ's sake. Anyway, so it's the new Bradley Cooper movie. Whatever. There's nothing else to really say other than I feel like it's a little, I don't know, to me, disingenuous. Some of the fucking shit. Hang on. Maybe I got to look through the trailer again. But like this thing at the start where he goes down, he's at the comedy club, and they're like, once you see the light, get off stage. And like, well, my experience, I haven't done I've done 20-minute gigs here and there, whatever. But like doing like a 5-minute set, you do get that light. And it's like, okay, you can wrap up 30 seconds, give yourself 30 seconds. You don't have to go, oh, and then jump off stage. So I don't know, just coming across as a bit like technically disingenuous. I don't know, whatever. There's nothing else to really say about this trailer other than it's got that Birdman kind of music. Very much a ripoff. I think it might actually be that music. Yo, don't fucking try to like reference that kind of movie. Like, you know, obviously this is another like film about entertainment, like in Birdman. But man, I really like Birdman. That was a good movie. Anyway, talking about a good movie. Anyway, on to like, why do I give a fuck about this movie? Now we have the documentary, just a trailer for it. Are We Good? The documentary about my absolute favorite comedian, Marc Maron. My favorite comedian who hasn't told a joke in 15 years. This fucking guy is just, again, like just the whole... Look, I guess I looked it up, like, oh, he's gone through some shit over the past few years. Okay. But just this trailer again, it's just like, oh, you'll laugh, but you'll cry. Just the whole sensitive comedian, like, oh, man, you know, when I try to look over my jokes, I'm like, Is this what being like a professional comedian's like about? Just this whole confessional, like, you know, let me get real, you know, like throwing the DNMs on stage and being very sparse with your actual jokes and your actual punchlines, and just getting into like a fucked up philosophy of like, you believe there's like the serious dynamic where if you get serious for like 5-6 minutes, I'm exaggerating, but you know, quite a few minutes, we're just talking about your whatever, your dead cat or whatever, getting like real into it, or when you were raped or whatever, childhood trauma, all this kind of thing, and then like just spending so much time, and then just but bring it back for a little joke. Whoa. Whatever, dude. Look, I know I'm like a fucking open micer and I hardly do well. But whatever, I'm still gonna I fucking criticize it. Fuck you. Is this like how it is to be? Is this how you get people like in the professional world of comedy? Because it just seems antithetical to what comedy is. Because comedy, like, be like Mark Norman. You know, I keep looking at these guys and just thinking like Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, I got no respect. Oh, my wife. Oh, Dr. Babadoobougie. You know, this kind of thing where it's just spitting out jokes, man. Like, yep. Give me the good stuff, man. Give me the good stuff. What's all this like serious fat around everything? I just, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I feel like I'm the one being serious now. Like, oh man, it's fucked up, you know. how these comedians and like comedy podcasters, I'm not even fucking making jokes. Oh, it's fucked up, man. Oh, it's just crazy, the world these days. These comedians, man, go on stage, but there's a few jokes to begin with, but then they get serious, yeah. It's kind of annoying. Anyway, whatever. I'm not watching this trailer again for this dumb fucking documentary. All I know is that I don't know how old the clip is in the documentary, but like Mark Maron's recording his podcast and he is using Audacity. Well, the audacity of him. I don't know if he's switched to whatever, I mean, I'm bloody using Audition. I mean, come on, I pay for this shit. I don't know. I don't know, man. And then also, like, this is just a very specific thing, but I'm wondering, like, the trailer's called Are We Good? I'm just realizing, like, both of these film titles have questions like, am I dying up here? That's a TV show as well, isn't it? Well, it's not. I guess it was I'm dying up here. Like this Seinfeld book. Is this funny? No, is this anything? Okay, I'm only just realizing this. I don't know how to connect it all. Like, is there like a lot of questions going on in the comedy world? Is there? What's the deal? I don't know. But anyway, I thought that was like a reference to the podcast he did with Louis C.K. where it was like an intense conversation, and very serious and like, not many jokes, very serious. I mean, it really did, like Louis C.K. really did get like into just like started crying and he cried on the podcast. No, I have an emotional thing. I mean, look, Louis C.K., I've listened to a bunch of him on like other podcasts and mostly like the O&A show, and he's really just, especially on the O&A show, he would just tell these stories or like just like opinions about whatever kind of thing like they're all riffing on. It's just, I feel like it's just as funny, not more, but like just as funny, if not a little less than his stand-up material. It's just good shit. Oh, for Christ's sake, I might as well talk about this. So the new energy drink reviews. So these new V flavors, what were they? Strawberries and cream, cotton candy, and clown vomit. I don't know. Like, and they were sugar free. So obviously, I've already got a problem with them, like tasting like melted liquefied cardboard. But I'm not digging. Like, I like V fine enough. I don't want sugar free. It's gonna give you type 2 diabetes. But these new flavors, they really just got that. Where it's just got to be like this crazy kind of sweet, real like fake candy. I mean, candy's already fake, but it's a fake version of this fake thing. Kind of taste, and it's very like sweetenery taste. Very what's it called? Oh, what the fuck's it called? Aspartame kind of taste, that like that fake sweetener. It just tastes like artificial. And I don't know. I kind of get. I just get the feeling that like these like other drinks that are out. There's certain energy drinks that I just don't want to fuck with because like the rock stars and even the monsters, and then you really get to like like the Bang and C4 and what's it called, Oxy Shred. I'm gonna shred the oxys in my system. This will help. All these drinks that are just like bubble cum flavor and all this kind of thing. Like it's just too much. I'm not a bloody like teenage Darrow who's gonna smash 5 of these and snort some oxys and some fentanyl and just be like just running around in an empty parking lot, beating up any old lady I see. Just beating up homeless people to get it out my system and stay up for 40 hours, It's just not my thing, And I say this as a man that just had 750 mils of Red Bull. I like the Red Bull flavors, These watermelon and blueberry and what was it? Pink dragon fruit. These flavors, they're kicking around. Actually, no, I think they got rid of the pink dragon fruit now. Damn it. Well, please keep the watermelon flavor. But they're not like, they taste more like the fruit that they're based on. I'm saying more, not really at all, but more at least. So yeah, I don't really fuck with these cans, the flavors. The cans look like they have a cool design where it's like, what do you call it? Holographic, like 3D print, whatever. Who cares? So no more for me. I think I just poured a bunch out in the sink. We're like, well, I got these on special, but I just don't give a rat's ass. I don't give a rat's tail, about these Darrow flavors. Anyway, that concludes my movie special of the David Morgan Brown experience. I'm getting a bit tired. Oh, I need another Red Bull. Actually, no, I did have 750 mils. I got an extra can in the fridge, and like I've really cut down on my caffeine. I've really cut down. I haven't had them for like 2 weeks or something. But then when I have them, I go hard, and I'm like literally like, sure, chest pain. Oh, I just gotta be like the lion, who ignores the occasional chest pain. I just wait it out. Have another Red Bull. Blimey, no, I really can't. I really gotta fuck that off. What was I saying? I had another movie to review that I really liked. I'm not doing it now. It's called Towelhead. Already, it's like, whoa, it's a very controversial, polemical film about. It's about like this young 13-year-old. She's the daughter of like a single, quite wealthy Egyptian immigrant who's it's set in like 1990. Like he's a very pro Gulf War. He's pro the American side of the Gulf War. He's like, they need to take Saddam and string him up, Well, you gotta wait 16 years for that. But she's all about like growing pains and like getting a period now, and like the way he's dealing with it is just terrible. Like he says, you can't wear tampons. Tampons are for married women. and then she has this like rebellion against like the people in her life because they're fucking with her, I mean, and then she has a next door neighbor who has like a pregnant. Oh, no, not a pregnant wife. There's another neighbor who's pregnant, but his wife, I believe, is just some bitch, and he has the hots for her. Aaron Eckhart character has the hots for this 13-year-old, and it's like, oh, and then she goes, he has a son who's a bit younger than her, and he's kind of giving her shit. She's giving it back to her, and he starts getting racist with her. That causes a whole thing. But like, he shows her dad's porno mags, and she's looking at the women in them, being like, oh, and she's like, it's bad to say, but she's kind of moving her legs in a way to stimulate, oh. It's great. It's crazy. You watch the film like, whoa, it's really going there, man. And I'm thinking there is just all these issues. Well, it's just interesting, like the way that she's looking at these images and like how it kind of like informs her about like, okay, is this what it is to be a woman? Because the mother character is a bit like, get out of my hands. Like she's like a white woman who's just doing somewhat financially okay, but like the ex-husband character, in a very nice cul-de-sac environment. He works for like NASA or something, so he's doing well for himself. But like, she doesn't seem to have much of a role model, a motherly role model in her life. The pregnant woman next door gives her a bit of that. But looking at these magazines, and it really shows the way she gets all up in sexualization of women and how that sort of makes her and how she's got to wrestle with that. And then there's a whole thing where she's like with this black student in a class, and they start having a thing, but like the Egyptian dad, he's like, "You are not to see that man anymore." I mean, that boy, and like, well, he's so against like the racism, but he's got this racism towards this black kid, he's like, if I find enough man, if I find enough boy, I mean, not just like a, yo, what's up, bitch, kind of role, So there's all this stuff going on. And it's treated very well, and it's done in like a very well written way, which is strange. Like, it's written by Alan Ball, who made 6 Feet Under and True Blood, and he wrote American Beauty, and he has written and directed this film. I think it's his directorial debut, So it's interesting for him, just getting into the mind of a 13-year-old Egyptian daughter of an immigrant who's got bisexual tendencies and is like dealing with the over sexualization and just the racism is just coming from this old white man. Like, good on him. He's done a good job. I think I like it more than American Beauty, I'd say, for sure. Definitely an interesting movie. It's definitely dealing with quite some hot button issues, and to get back to it, the whole pedophile but neighbor side of things, and let's just say they really go there, man. They really fucking go there with that character. And look, spoiler alert, whatever, but like at the end of the movie, the pregnant woman, like, she has a thing where she's running out of her house and she falls over and lands on her stomach. And I was like, oh no, fuck, man. Like, there's just this whole other theme in the movie, you know. And I was like, okay, this is going to be too much, man. This is going to be too much. But then, like, she goes to the hospital and she has the baby, and the baby's fine. And it's actually the end of the movie. So it's like, okay, cool. Because another fucking just big, heavy thing is just too much, you know. It's nice that the movie ends on a nice note, you know, about how this girl navigates her way. And it's just like, I just haven't quite seen it done because maybe I have, but just in the way that she rebels. She rebels against the racism that she's seeing from both her father and her, you know, white people and the white next door, you know, kid, you know, and like having to deal with that and having to deal with the oppression from her father because she's like this girl growing up and not having like her mother like in her life, you know, and the way that she's gotta. I mean, the opening scene kind of shows why she's left why she gets kicked out of the house because this is the opening scene. The boyfriend of the mum is like showing her how to like shave her pubes, you know. She's like, that's not appropriate at all to be doing. And he's like, oh, but I had her wear a bathing suit the whole time. It's fine. And it's like, oh boy, man, it's a spicy film, man. It's a spicy film. It's like, oh, could you get this made today? I guess not. You know, like, yeah, this would just send the left wing and right wing equally just up a fucking tree, you know. And I liked it. I felt it to be very stimulating. Like, I know it is a, like, you know, it's kind of more like not so much a story. It's not a story based, you know, it's character based, but like it's throwing in these big themes and like how the characters react to them is how the story kind of goes along and how the film evolves. And yeah, I'm fine with that because like it's just so well written by Alan Boyce. Peppers it with like all this spiciness and like interesting ways that people have these interactions and dealing with, you know, the race and the gender and the age and everything about it, you know, and being like, you know, with the you know, all the time with the Gulf War taking place in the back, which they sometimes come to. And great acting. I don't know who the fuck the girl is. She plays a 13-year-old, but she is 18. She was 18 when they made the film, so you know, there are sex scenes, but like you don't see any nudity and whatever. And you don't see any like, you know, titties or vagina or whatever. And the dad character, I don't know his name, Caleb Husimi, whatever his name is, very good performance, very good. He's so like stern and like, you know, but trying to be somewhat of a good role model, but like just trying too hard. And even though he's like very pro-American, he still has this kind of that like, I believe he's not Islamic. No, he's Christian. I believe he says he's Christian, but he's still like an Islamic kind of Middle Eastern sort of view on just kind of repressing the woman in that kind of way, you know. And Aaron Eckhart, you know, look, he's great in the movie as well. You gotta give him props because of the sort of performance. Anytime I see a pedophile in a film, you know, I'm like, I mean, like, you know, the actor, or maybe they are, it's Hollywood. But when I see that, I'm like, man, like, hats off to you. It's kind of brave. It's kind of brave to be playing this kind of role, especially when you go in that kind of direction and everything. And yeah, it's hardcore stuff, you know. It reminded me of like Hard Candy with Patrick Dempsey. I don't know what's his name. Patrick Swayze, Patrick Warburton, Patrick. Fuck, he's like a good-looking kind of white guy. He's been in quite a number of popular movies, and with back then Ellen Page. Yeah, I saw that a little while ago. That ends on a more kind of general, like it's just a kind of pedo revenge sort of film, and it's like well done, but it's not something I get into. Like it's a bit more of a like a ha, you know, dealing with the pedophile, and there's some surprises here and there in the film for sure, and that's well done. It's well done and well directed and written, but I just think the narrative just is a bit more general, you know, ends on just a not happier, but a more obvious note, I would say. A Towelhead is a more it's a spicy film, and I've been watching films based on like reading old Empire magazines. So this film came out in 2008. So I've been reading like Empire magazines from around that time, and I saw a review of it, and it got like 4 stars, and they were saying this is a thematically intense movie. So go in with sort of that expectation. So yeah, good. I'm getting these recommendations for these sorts of films, and I've seen a few others that like another film set in like a rich cul-de-sac area. End of watch. Samuel L. Jackson. That was very good as well. Very great, like directed and written, and the kind of interpersonal relationships between these characters and how interesting they are and how they escalate. It is. It just makes me think, like, like, I guess I like films fine enough now, but like, films are better back in the 90s or the 70s or 30s or whatever. I think it's a number of films throughout the 2000s that, if you're digging deep for this kind of stuff, you can see some interesting shit. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, I said I wouldn't talk about it, but here we are. Anyway, what else happens? What's another big thing that occurs? All right, anyway, now I'm done. But now I'll give you a little... I'm definitely not going to talk about this. I have much to say, but I finally finished watching The Shield. I'll talk about the whole show, and particularly the finale, on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.